In the last 2 weeks, Tesla has canceled Model S, Model X, Autopilot, and now we see the SpaceX XAI merger. What is happening? If you think this is a normal week, you haven't been paying attention. Hey everybody, Dan from Jowua here. And today we're going to look at what we expect from Tesla over the next 12 months. With all the changes that have been happening, me and the team had to sit down and plan out what our product roadmap is going to be and how we're going to invest. So today we're going to talk about 5 topics we want to make predictions on for the next 12 months. That includes FSD, Cybercab, and a whole lot more. Not investment advice. Don't listen to me. Topic number 1, Model YL. It's going to be the new flagship, and it's going to be in North America in Q3. With Tesla canceling Model S and Model X, something needs to fill that gap. Now we expect Model YL to be the replacement for Model X, essentially. And the reason is it's almost the same size. It's only off by about 2 inches on the back end. Now you've seen the pictures. The Model YL is a beautiful looking 6-seater. It's got the extended wheelbase, and it's already for sale in China right now, and it's been so for a few months. Now, 2 weeks back, there was an interesting development between Canada and China. Canada lowered the tariffs for Chinese EVs down to 6%. So we're expecting to see the Model YL show up in Canada potentially first. Sorry, Americans, our turn now. The Model YL sales are going to explode first in Canada. It'll be a huge deal, and we hope to see it in the US not long after. Topic 2, we want to talk about Optimus. And what we think we're going to see in the next 12 months, unfortunately, is nothing. 0 sales of Optimus. Now, with S and X canceled, people are assuming there's going to be a huge movement of production over to Optimus. But do you remember production hell of Model 3? It took Tesla 5 years to master 2 new technologies for Cybertruck, 48-volt architecture and steer-by-wire. Now, what are we looking at with Optimus? How many brand new technologies are they wrapping up into one thing here? We've got new actuators. We've got tactile sensing. And not even to mention, how are they going to train the AI? This is not the same as FSD. Similar concept, but they're not going to be able to pull in training from people driving their cars with Optimus. Now, Tesla might have some pre-order show before the end of the year and make a big PR move out of it, but we don't see a single unit shipping in the next 12 months. Topic number 3, Cybercab. We're seeing a ton of interesting video all over Austin, San Francisco, of them testing out the Cybercab, some with, some without steering wheel, but more with steering wheel, huh? But our prediction is we're not going to see over 100 cars on the roads by the end of the year. It's just not going to happen. Now, speaking of timelines, Tesla just recently, last week in fact, announced where they're going to roll out in the US over the next 6 months. What we've seen is Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, Miami, Orlando, Tampa, Las Vegas, all of this planned before the end of the first half of the year. Seems aggressive. Now, the same factor that we just spoke about with Optimus is in play here for Cybercab. Production hell. It took them 2 years to get through the production hell for Model 3 to ramp up the production. And we haven't even started in production hell yet for Cybercab. So with that in mind, there's no way there's going to be 100. You're going to see a lot of great videos of Cybercab in robotaxi rides in the next few months. But those are all going to be one-off builds, not high volume production units yet. Our next topic, FSD unsupervised. We're of the belief that we're not going to see the removed in the next 12 months. We're going to be supervised until next year. The reason is basically what we like to call the March of Nines. Recently, David Moss posted on X about a trip from coast to coast in the US, completely driven by FSD, 100%, as proven by data pulled into Holmars's FSD database. Now, that makes you feel like we're 99.9% of the way there, but here's the problem. This idea of the March of Nines was coined by Andrei Karpathy, who was one of the original Tesla AI engineers. And what it means is that for every 9% or 0.99 or 0.9 or 0.99, for every 9 that you add, it takes just as long as the previous 9 did. So Tesla took about 3 years to get to 90%, another 3 to get to 99%, and another 3 to get to 99.9%. And we're somewhere in between those two right now. The issue is that the next 9 is massively important. And why is that? Well, liability and insurance, unfortunately. Let's look at the math, okay? Imagine we've got 1 million robotaxis out there today. If they each drive 30 miles a day, we're looking at 30 million miles a day. Now let's look at Tesla's own data. They say that with supervision, they're seeing a small collision or minor collision every 1.5 million miles. Okay, now we need to remove the human out of this if FSD is unsupervised. Let's be fair, say the human accounts for 50% of the safety there. So instead of 1.5 million, we're talking about 750,000 miles before every minor collision. Okay, those 1 million cars doing 30 million miles a day, what does that mean over a year for collisions then? So it works out to about 15,000 crashes in a year. That sounds a lot, okay? But if you factor in how many miles we're talking about, it's not, right? But what does that mean in terms of liability? It's a lot of money, even for Tesla. By our estimations, that's anywhere from $500 million to $1 billion a year in liability. Now, Tesla's got $40 billion in the bank, but they just can't take on $1 billion worth of liability every year. That's not sustainable. So the tech may be safe enough for you, but it's not safe enough for their business. That's why we're not going to see unsupervised before the end of the year. And frankly, we think anytime soon. On top of that, Tesla's only an insurer in 13 states. They're going to have to roll it out then to a lot more states if they want to do a national rollout in the US. And let's not even talk about Europe. Finally, I want to talk about Tesla stock, and predictions about it are ridiculous, but there's so much happening that you can feel the hype building. Okay, we are predicting at least a 30% jump by the end of the year. So that's looking at an above 500 amount and closer to 550. I've just given you low expectations on Optimus. We're talking about Model S X canceled, autopilot gone. I said Cybercab's going to be below 100. Why would I have such an optimistic number with all the negative things I've said? Well, because this year, 2026, is not about shipping the future. It's about proving that it can be done. There's so much negative talk in the media about Cybercab, about Optimus, about FSD. This year will prove that it's all coming and coming very soon. So the narrative shifts from hype to evidence. Even if Cybercab doesn't ship nationally, Austin is going to prove that it's viable and it's going to be the preferred selection for people on robotaxi because it's going to be cheaper. Okay, even if you can't place an order for Optimus, we're going to be seeing more and more videos of it rolling out of the factory, and we're going to see great displays of its newer skills. FSD take-up rate is going to be higher. We saw recently, last week, with Tesla's financial numbers, that it's at a peak right now at about 13% take rate. That means we could see the annual subscriptions moving from the 300K that they have now to maybe 500K by the end of the year. That's an extra $250 million in pure profit. It's free real estate. Honestly, with these technologies being proven through the year, 30% is really not that much of a hot take. So there you have it. That's the 5 topics that the team here at Jowua is keeping their eye on over the next year, helping us decide what products to lay out and where to invest. The Model S and X are dead. Long live Model YL. Now, one final thought. By the time you watch this, Tesla as an independent entity might not even exist, with it potentially merging into the new SpaceX XAI entity. But we'll see. One thing we know, it's going to be a very, very exciting year this year. If you want to be the first to know about new products we've got out, giveaways we're doing, our take on different Tesla topics, please feel free to subscribe and like. And as always, safe driving, everyone.